Do you usually feel like there are some secrets that these wealthy people usually hide from you? Like all the time you ask yourself, I just feel like there are some sort of, secrecy enshrined these people and there are some things that they don't share with us. Guess what? You always been right. It is true. There's some of the secret that these wealthy people will never share with you. And here I am to debunk the myth and share with you 7 things that these guys will never share with you, and you ought to know them for you to be where they are. All right? By the way, the only thing that you need to do is just to be a little bit patient. I mean, seriously, I'm just sharing with you 7 secrets and you don't have the patience to watch this video to the end, then there must be a problem somewhere. Or to watch this video to the end for you to get the maximum information from this video. By the way, don't forget to like this video again if it gives you value, and make sure that you hit that small subscription button down below there so that you'll be notified whenever I upload any good video. Let's get into business now. Okay, point number 1. These guys, guess what they do? They make more money than you, but they don't spend like you. It's a secret that they never share with you. And have you seen people, those who have money, they never even try to impress people, never love to make it look or other public out there that they have money. They just dress nicely and obviously decently, but not elegantly. They don't walk like a billboard. Have you ever seen some people who walk like a billboard? You have like Gucci, you have like Versace, you have like, those big brands and what have you, like your walking board and everything. If you get your whatever, I mean, these people, they just, whatever they wear, it's a bit expensive. I don't agree. I don't disagree. But when I say a bit expensive, it's like somewhere, they don't prove any point. But there you are, and say you're a middle incomer, and you actually trying the best you can to impress to people and let them know that you're actually making money. Whenever you buy something, you have to show us here on the WhatsApp status, whatever the place, you're actually trying as much. We can even tell you're struggling to explain to us that you have money. You just do the success, and then the success will do the shouting for you. So these guys make way more than you do, but they spend less than you do. All right, when I say spend less than I do, I know you might say, hey, sometimes they can lend a helicopter and walk around. It's true, it is cost much, but compared to what they make vis-a-vis, and compared to what you make and what you buy, you know why? By the way, you can actually get a rich person chartering a private jet to go somewhere, and you might say it's very expensive. Yet it is expensive, but how much are they making by virtue of them borrowing that thing to go wherever they want to go, vis-a-vis to you who is making 10,000 and you're going out there taking a coffee worth like 1,200 or something of sort. You see, compare in terms of the percentage, what they use vis-a-vis what they made and what you're making vis-a-vis what you used. That's what I'm saying. They make more than you, but they don't spend like you. That's the difference, and that's a secret that they never share with you. And by the way, you never see your bosses telling you that on all those kind of things. The thing that they keep it secret by themselves. Okay, number 2 is that these guys, they know one thing that they never tell you: savings will never make you rich. It's true, perhaps sometimes the bosses will tell you, hey, make sure that you save your money, don't eat everything, save a little bit there, do this like that. And it's true, you can save, but the fact remains you cannot actually achieve the success or the dream of financial freedom with just saving. Saving has never solved anyone's problem in terms of the future and creation of wealth. We do not have any record in history of somebody who just saved and by default they become wealthy. I know you're likely to borrow the idea of the janitor who used to save a lot of money. I don't know, when he died, he had like, I don't know, 14 million or 8 million, whatever the case. But the fact remains, we do not have any track record of an individual who just by default of just saving, you become wealthy. What we do, we save, yes, but we go to an extra mile of investing that money, and that's where the people draw the line. But then if you listen to most of the people who talks about making money, investing and all those kind of, they likely, they kind of reach a certain particular point. They just tell you, hey, this is how you save, and then about investment, they draw the line. And by the way, have you ever met these guys and then you bring them on board and you ask them, okay, you are wealthy, would like us to share with you, or rather share with us, like how exactly did you reach there, and explain. And they're just there, you find like there's something like they are kind of holding dear to themselves and something of sort. It is true, there is always a secret attached to that. And by the way, if you didn't watch my last video that I posted about, hey, if you cannot be able to keep secrets, you can't be able to keep health. That is a fact. The wealth and secret are things that goes hand in hand. If you have a lot of this, you have a lot of mouth, you talk every time, anytime, most of the people cannot even entrust you. And also money cannot even trust you with you talking all the time. So it is good to be careful on what you say, when you say it, and how you say it. Okay? So the point is this: you cannot actually become wealthy by virtue of you savings. You need to go ahead and invest. Number three, the salary that they pay you, these wealthy people, will never make you rich. Perhaps this information is out there and most of the people tend to disagree, but the fact remains, hey, the salary, yes, I agree, it is the primary source of the income that you need to invest so that you can grow yourself. So, but the salary will never make you rich directly. What it does, it's indirectly. And indirectly, you have to make sure that at least you actually take care of your numbers. That is what you make vis-a-vis what you expend, your expenses. Now, the difference between the two is what you take, you save it, you raise the capital, and then you invest it, you get the passive income progressively. That's how you achieve the freedom as far as the finance is concerned. I understand that is actually salary making you rich, but indirect way. But directly, by virtue of you being employed, ain't gonna make you any wealthy unless you become a CEO of a very big brand, and not only nationally but globally. That is what you're supposed to understand. So this bubble of just feeling comfort and I just have my salary at the end of the month or at the end of the week or at the end of the day, it does not solve that thing. It actually solves the today's problem, and that's why you find most of the people tend to complain. Another thing that I've realized by the clients that usually get like each and every day, people complain about, hey, I do not love my job. I do not love my job. By the way, for your record, I have never come across somebody who's telling me, I love my job where I am employed. People tell me, I love what I'm doing, like my business and something also, but where they're employed, they don't love it, okay? And that means that they're not contented from where they are. Probably they complain about the work environment. Probably they complain about how much they get paid and all those kind of things. But there is a thing that I would like to share with you. That what you get paid from your job, it's actually able or is actually meant to sustain yourself. I'll repeat, to sustain yourself. There are two things you're supposed to understand in life. There's what we call the sustainables, and that is what we call the developmental. The sustainables are things that you ought to have them. The food, the shelter, the clothing, you have to transport yourself from one point to the other and all those things. Not on the purposes of development, but for the purposes of existing. It's like the way you usually eat, for you to exist, for you to be alive and all those kind of things. But when it comes to the difference between person A and B is when you now achieve some extra miles, like you have a car, you have a piece of land, you have a property, you have those kind of things. Now that's what brings a difference between person A and B. So now the point is this: that what you get paid as a salary or an income, that is what we say it is meant to sustain yourself. So using that to achieve the things that makes you happy, it's a wrong procedure, and that is not, it's uncalled for, which you're not supposed to do. Channel that money towards an investment. That's what now you get from the investment, is what now you channel towards you having that what you love. You got the point. Number four, the success is intentional. And this is that point that I would love to explain a little bit. Success is intentional. I've ever met these guys who are out there and they're complaining, they're waiting things to be in order, they're waiting things to fall into place, they're waiting things to just work for them, they're waiting that time they'll be making a lot of money for them to invest. They're just waiting by default of them being old. But I've ever met somebody who is telling me, hey, guess what? Yeah, I know I do not have money because I'm young, but I know by the time I'm hitting 50, I'll be having money, I'll be wealthy. And then I say, okay, fine. Then what are you doing now for the sake of that? I can justify by the time you're at 50, you'll be having something. They say, by default of me being old, then now, come on, it doesn't work that way. Wealth is intentional. It is intentional in the sense that you have to actually be out there, roll up your sleeves, dirtify your hands so that at least you can be able to make that money that you're intending to make out there. What does it mean? Have you ever met somebody who is out there walking the streets and they have some, the curb, the abs, and they are so much flexed, and then you ask them, and how do you get it? It just happened. I don't know. It doesn't work that way. It is intentional. If you see that guy with that kind of a body, it is intentional. That guy created that body. That guy worked for that thing. The same case applies for the wealth. You work for it. You get yourself out there. You work hard as much as you can. And I always tell you guys one thing. Success is always an intersection between two things. It's hard work and luck, because you cannot be able to control luck. The only thing that you have a control of is the hard work. You can work as hard as you want, all right? But you cannot be as lucky as you want. You do not have a control over that. So it is good to work hard. You see, working hard is actually placing yourself to where the luck actually passes by. So if you place yourself towards an area where you can actually be lucky, that is now how you start to realize the success in your life. So wealth is very intentional, which is very intentional. Do not confuse it with just ultimately lack for you to get it. No, it has to be a combination of those two things. All right, we got the point number 5. There is a secret wrapping their wealth. I made a whole video of close to 20 minutes explaining this point. Anyone who you meet along the way, there is a certain secret wrapping their wealth. That's for sure. There is something that they know that you do not. All right, and there is something that they know, probably you know, but they know it better than you do. That's for it. And that is what they say. For example, say you were to spend a whole of your time maybe learning about paints, maybe about arts. Let's say you spend a lot of time learning about something, so you become an expert in that specific area. So you're likely to attract a prime or premium prices or premium charges or premium payment for you to actually guide people on exactly that. So what I mean is, by them having a certain secret wrapping their wealth is this. And when I say a secret, some people tend to think like it's a bad secret. No, it doesn't have to be a bad secret. For example, I love to use this example. Today we usually use a certain shoe polish called Kiwi. Probably we do not have, I have never come across another one that is actually as better as Kiwi. So there is a secret combination of that specific thing that makes that specific product. For example, if you go to Coca-Cola, there is, I don't know whether it's conspiratory or whether it is true, they know there's specific ingredient that makes that. That KFC that usually go, that McDonald's that usually go, that Starbucks that usually go, that whatever place that Chicken Inn, whatever the places that you guys usually go, there is that secret combination of the thing that they usually do that make that specific thing to taste the same. For example, if you go to KFC in whichever the country, if you go to South Korea, if you go to North Africa, you go to South America, whatever the place, it tastes the same. So there is always that secret that actually wrap that specific thing. Now, if I ask you, now, do you have that specific thing that is attached to yourself? Do you have a brand? Do you have a thing that, hey, whenever people think about something, they think about you? And that's why I told people, right now in this era of 21st century, anything you're doing, switch on your camera. Anything you're doing, turn on your camera. That's what you're supposed to do. Let the world know who you are, what you can, and what you have out there, and you can be able to share with this world and make it a better place. That's a reality. And once you do exactly that, you're going to make some cash. That's how we do it, right? Point number 6. You can make more money. It's true. They know this and they never share with you this. You can make more money, but you can never create wealth. The wealth is created by people. Or rather, let me repeat this point. You can make more money, yes, by yourself. But guess what? The wealth is actually created for you by others. Did you get what I'm saying? Because I don't want you to get confused. You actually gonna make more money, it is true, but the wealth is actually created for you by others. And that's why you find these people, they love to delegate. They love to delegate. They love to delegate. If they can actually do a certain task by themselves and make them 10,000, and if they can actually get the 3 of you or 4 of you actually do the same task, and they can actually get half of what they ought to get if they were to do it by themselves, they would rather delegate that, and they're actually gonna make more, because that's now what we call scalability in business. So they have actually mastered this art, and then they used it good for themselves. For example, right now as we speak, the Amazon is working for the Jeff Bezos. Whether he's asleep, whether he's on vacation, the system is working for them. But now the problem is you confine yourself to only that business. That's why you find you can have a business that can make you a slave. All the time you have to be there doing something, pushing the button, kicking it, and that is actually, you're actually confining your income within the parameters of time. And when exactly you do that, you're gonna make a limited amount of money. All right, so that is what you're supposed to understand. The last point is that it takes time to make money, but brains. It takes time and effort to make money, but brains to keep it. That's for sure. And I want you to think about this as I end this video. The graph of income usually goes up, down, go up, down, something like that. But the expenditure just goes down straight, steep. All right, so it takes time and effort to actually be able to make some cash, but it takes brains to keep it. That's for sure. Think about that loudly. And you see, and remember one thing, the success of a man is not measured by how high he sort of climbs, but how high he bounces when he hit the bottom. And the net worth of an individual is always measured by the capacity to retain, the absorbability, that what you can retain, that what you have. We don't say you are the wealthiest person because you make this amount of money at the end of the month. No, you can actually be making all that, but you squander everything. You can have as high appetite as you're having in terms of making money. So you end up canceling your what? Your hard work. So the point is this: make sure that at least you understand all these secrets, and once you understand them, utilize them appropriately to suit your needs and be able to grow yourself to the next level. I don't want to take much of your time. That marks the end of my video, but I have to remind you this as we end this, okay? If you'd like to have a conversation with me, probably in looking of my booklets about investment, you would like to get my services or any other related to such, grab that number of mine from the description of this specific video. Shoot me a call. We can have a conversation. And for now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.